Episode 3. Yeah.
Again.
We're struggling
Take 2.
today. Take 2.
2.
They don't know about take 1.
No. Take 1 was weird. It did feel rushed. We talked about doing this and not being rushed, not feeling rushed, letting it flow naturally as a conversation.
Right. And that's like kind of, not to interrupt, but that was the whole purpose of why we're not so scripted. We want organic conversation.
Right. And I was talking at like probably the Indy 500. My mouth was going, like I could hear myself going, holy cow, if anybody even understands a word I said, that's going to be interesting.
And as I told you, you don't know this yet. And if you're new, my name's Andy or Andrew. And your name?
I am Kobe. My real name is Mike. Everyone calls me Kobe because it's half of my last name. A lot of people in this world seem to have a hard time pronouncing the name Kobelansky. So everybody just call me Kobe. It's easy.
It is easy. But as I was kind of saying, like, I'm preaching tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And since the time you come, our church has been bigger. We're averaging 100 people now.
That's awesome.
And it is good. It's good to see the growth. It's good to see lives being changed.
There was a lot of people when I went that one time. What was that, last year? 2 years ago? Whenever I came to when you were talking. Like, yeah, that was cool.
Thanks. Yeah, we had fun, but I'm unprepared. I haven't started sermon prep yet, and I'm on deck at 10:30 tomorrow morning. So after this is done, I got to do that. But my mind is, when I preach, I take the same flow where I have a small little sheet of, like, this is what I want to hit, but then I let that naturally flow. And at times when you get a little nervous, which is actually what we're talking about today, the fear.
So you blend it.
I blend it
into a conversation.
And then I talk really fast. And then my wife, like, she's in the back, like.
And the talking fast part goes with what we are going to talk about. You know?
So if you want to know, episode 3 is all about, we're being intentional now with a specific type of topic.
Right. And it's something that every single person can relate to. And I will say this, every single person can relate to it, and it doesn't matter who you are, what you think you are, or where you come from in this world. These are things that every single one of us deal with. Now, in saying that, I will have to say, like we said in, I think, the first 2 episodes, is we are not getting political. We're not going to talk political at all. We don't care. We don't care what side of the aisle, middle, left, right, far, this, far. Whatever you desire, that's your own thing. I'm going to keep it to myself. Andy's going to keep it to himself. And we're going to move on.
I love it.
I love it too. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. That's the whole person. I sent you a message after the last episode because we were like, what should we talk about? And there's a lot of good advice that we put down from other people on the list of things in the future.
Yes.
But I was like, what do you think about fear? And at first, I don't think you were that into it.
No, because when you say fear to somebody, it goes right to the big stuff.
The big thing.
The big stuff. I'm afraid of drowning. I'm afraid of flying. I'm afraid of, whatever. There's all these phobias. But then when I started thinking about it more and we started talking about it more, I wanted to make it more on a personal, everyday type of conversation.
Right. So that's awesome. One thing we also want to be intentional about doing, even though we're not sponsored, is sharing a particular item that it means something to us, and that we want to encourage other people that are like, hey, at least check it out. What's it going to hurt to check something cool out, right? We know that it's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your item of the week?
My item,
episode.
Two items. My 2 items. My 2 things of this week is this snacky snack from the brand Hers. These cheesy choms. If you like Cheetos, you're going to love these. These are absolutely wonderful. They are gluten-free, no artificial flavors, made with real cheese. I had to express that because
Right.
I keep saying trees for some reason.
Because you're branching out.
Right. I love it. And no synthetic dyes.
They also don't bark at you.
That's good. Leave me alone.
Right.
But these are found. I've only found them in the Pittsburgh area at Sheetz gas stations. I'm sure they make bigger bags, and I'm sure they're probably in a grocery store somewhere. If anybody knows if they make bigger bags, please leave it in the comments. That's the other thing. Speaking of comments, that's the other thing that we want
Right.
people to do is we want people to get involved and have conversations with us, maybe even with each other in the comment section.
We received a lot of cool comments on episode 2, and
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Especially from our standpoint of like, we want people to be open-minded and to be engaged in the conversation and to just think outside of the box from what they normally do. So to get involved and to help us grow with how we're doing the thing.
Yeah, and we're not looking to make, this a job. As soon as it becomes a job, I think both of us are going to be like, okay,
We're done.
I don't want to do this.
I talked about that last week on how hobbies should never be a job.
Right. Yeah, because once it's a job, it's a job.
Right. So, being that it's not a job, my item, there's a lot of people who always talk about, I want to do a podcast. I want to start a podcast, right? We talked about it and we didn't know how to get started. Well,
right.
My item this week is simply the microphones that we use. Come in a tiny little case, just like this. USB-C receiver, plugs into my PC, clips right onto the shirt. $35.20 shipped after tax. Boya Mini 2s.
And I will say, I listen to a lot of different podcasts. And I get an opportunity sometimes to watch them. And the one thing I always see that kind of drives me nuts, that big microphone that they sit behind and they talk. And it's like you could see their eyes and their lips are like touching the microphone. And to me, that it looks uncomfortable. Like that would probably drive me crazy, especially since I do this.
We could argue from an audio standpoint that the audio is better, but is it better enough? I just ordered a second set of these yesterday as a backup set, and for when we have guests.
Which we will have at some point.
Because my second item, that book that I mentioned in episode 1, The Forever Man. This one's for you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I am looking forward to this because this is based in Pennsylvania.
Yes, the author goes to my church.
Okay,
he's an awesome guy. He actually wants to come on the podcast sometime.
Oh, that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, so we're encouraged by the idea and thought of having a guest, and not just any guest, an actual published author. There's three books in.
I was just going to ask: is this the only book, or is it?
He has other books too, but there's this one that follows the sheriff. Clive
so this author has other books.
But there's a series of 3 of these, and he's just wrapped up the 4th one. C. William Davis III. He's an awesome, incredible guy. I love him to death.
We should put that in like this episode somewhere. Yeah. So people can see this.
We'll link it in the comments. But
that's what I
mean. One of the things I talk about.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're right. One of the things I talk about Bible wise is I'm not pumping religion here either. On top of
but you will talk about Jesus.
But I will talk about Jesus.
You mentioned
that's who I am. I'm not religious, but I'm a Christian, and the idea is
that's a great way to say that.
Thanks.
I love that. I love that you said I am not religious, but this is who I am. Because I don't think a lot of people say it that way.
Christianity is actually very anti-religion, and I think that we see a lot of people who want to have that religious aspect of their relationship, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
Right.
The sole purpose is I talk to people who are like, I love God and I love Jesus, but I don't read the Bible. And my thing has always been, if you really love somebody and they wrote a book, would you read it?
Absolutely.
Well, I really love this guy, and I was like, you know what? Even though I'm dyslexic and reading's hard and difficult and I struggle through it, I say this all the time about the Bible. Like, if you love somebody, if you love God, you would read his book. Well, I love C. William Davis III, so
There you
like, I
go.
gotta read.
And the cool thing is, it
It's
is
awesome.
based in Pennsylvania. And maybe, as we were talking about conversations between us and anybody who watches this or listens to it in their drives or in their earbuds when they're working out in the yard or whatever, um, it might have people looking into the history and the weirdness of Pennsylvania because we got Appalachia that
It's
runs through it.
autographed too.
That's cool. And there's a lot of scary, weird little towns in Pennsylvania when you start getting on back roads.
There's
oh my
there's a
gosh.
chapter. I'm not gonna spoil it, but you're
Okay.
like,
I've been through a lot of places
Yeah.
in this state, and there's a lot of places where I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful. This is fantastic. And then you drive over the mountain, you're like,
So it was actually when I got to that chapter, I was like, oh, so that's where the cover picture comes from.
Oh, okay. So that's actually a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, then. No, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
That's
it's cool.
fantastic.
It's cool. Yeah, it's awesome. I highly recommend it. So we talked about what the episode's about.
Yeah,
We talked about what it's not about.
we did.
We talked about our stuff.
And I'm dropping stuff.
Am I smelling the meat of the episode coming up here?
You could
Is that what I smell?
You could be.
So I kind of already mentioned that, like, you were all gun ho about it, and
Yes.
I was like, well, let's turn it over to you because I don't want to step on your toes, and I talked the most in
You
the
don't
last
because
episode.
my toes are killing me.
Right.
They
You
hurt
stop up.
really bad.
Your trip going up the stairs,
Oh.
the gym mat.
I stubbed it again the other night. I actually had to, for the first time in my life. Oh, and it didn't dawn on me till just now. Is it goes with
Was
this?
that a reference to your wife?
No, Dawn. I like it. But no, what happened the other night, Thursday night, is really goes into this. And this episode is fear, embarrassment. So as Andy said about stubbing my toe, not only did it go this way on the mat, but it went this way and this way underneath. And I kept trying to go and move on, and it just hurt. And I, stood at attention, and I looked at Master Lindsay, went like this, and she's like that's probably a good idea.
She could tell what was wrong with you.
Absolutely, and something's afoot. But so I went into the changing room, and I sat down, and it was like I was mad, but then I was like embarrassed. It was the first time in a long time where I had to stop doing something, and now everybody's looking at me. And some people knew, and some people didn't, and some people were probably like, "Wow, he actually bowed out," and it was embarrassing for me. And I'll even go as far as saying it was embarrassing me for a man, because men and certain people in life we're not supposed to be embarrassed. We're not supposed to be afraid, and that's what this
We're not
is.
supposed to get hurt.
Yeah. And that's what this episode is about, is literally everybody of everything in the world. It doesn't matter your religion, what you believe in, where you come from in life, where you are in society. It doesn't matter. The fear part, the embarrassment part, the sadness, the anxiety. Every single person has that in some sort of way. It just goes up and down depending on the person.
So I have to tell a story from the aspect of like what I'm thinking about as we're talking about this. For Christians, they're afraid to tell people about Jesus. Number one, I'm afraid that I'm not going to have the answers and I'm going to look stupid. Number two, I'm afraid this person's going to judge me and I'm going to be rejected. So it's like there's this big list. Well, my son, for school on Friday, it was bring a book to school to read to the class. And he picked his 5-minute Bible stories for kids.
Okay.
So he takes it to school and he's like, we drop him off at Grammy and Pappy's. The bus picks him up there. The bus drops him off there. I pick him up after work. bring him home. He's in the back, and I was like, hey, so how'd your reading go? He's, oh, it was great, Dad. It was really good. I had a good time. He's like, I was on the bus with my friend, and my son's 7. He's like, my friend doesn't go to church. So I read him the resurrection story of Jesus. And he's like, wow, that blew his mind. And I was like, if a 7-year-old isn't afraid to talk about Jesus to somebody, maybe we need to stop saying that kids are always so afraid of everything. And
Kids aren't afraid.
right,
They're not
they're
afraid.
afraid of getting hurt. Maybe
Not even, because they don't even know what hurts them yet.
true.
If a kid falls down, what do they just bounce back up? They just
Right.
get right back up. But if an
Yeah, I'm down
adult
for a
falls
month.
down, if an adult falls down, it's, where did you fall down? Were you alone? Did you tell anybody that you fell down? And if you did fall down, what's the first thing an adult does? Is they laugh. Now, the embarrassment part. I can take anything in life and relate it to probably these 2 items. And, and again, everybody out there watching and listening, this is a conversation. This isn't scripted. Yes, we have notes, 3 words, this, that, boom. And it's just to keep us in line. This is organic. This is a conversation. So if you see or hear my voice up and down, rapidly talking, slowing down, or Andy jumping in and talking about a past experience, this is called a conversation without text messages.
What?
Right. This is what it is. This is like the back porch talking between Kobe and Andy. This is what my buddy Sean, him and I, we've known each other since grade school. We don't get together as much as we should, considering he doesn't live that far. But when we get together, this is the conversation we have. These type of things. We'll just be talking about something. And he's like a power lifter type of guy.
We talked over a half hour before we hit record.
That's true. Did we do it again? Or did we do it? Did we actually?
Yeah.
No, I mean just now. Or did we actually have record now?
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out, right? If you call me later and go, hey, yeah, all that talk sounded great, but there was nothing recorded.
Right.
Then do it again.
Now I'm scared.
No, I'm not. Now you're afraid. You fear. And the embarrassment kicks in.
Nobody's going to know.
No.
And we will.
We'll know.
I don't care about
personal embarrassment.
Right.
There you go. But one of the things is we were talking about the fear and embarrassment thing, and this is I am going to be passionate about it. I don't really have a choice. It's just my personality.
Question.
Go ahead.
Were you embarrassed that you forgot your blender coffee mug?
I was. I even texted you and was like halfway here, and I'm looking around going, I forgot my mug. I can't believe it. This is the mug. The blender mug.
I don't have to get another one and leave it here for you.
I know, right? But one of the things I want to touch on, and I keep looking at my phone, and I don't mean any disrespect or anything, but I'm
cutting you off.
A lot of notes on here that I was thought of, and I'm like, I got to put that in. I got to put that in there. And some of it is just like quotes. Some of it is just an idea. But one of the things I want to talk about with this note right here between failure and embarrassment is failure is always an option. You'll hear people say, failure's not an option. Really? How long did it take you to be perfect if failure's not an option?
Right.
Because I can guarantee you failure is an option. Failure is a teacher. It teaches you how to move on. It teaches you what not to do. Thomas Edison did not invent the light bulb on his first try. In fact, Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb. There were people way before him. He just thought of a way, 1,000 different ways, but figured out the right way from learning of the failures, how to just keep it going longer. So failure is an option, but failure is a lesson. You need to fail.
How many times have you ever said, I won't make that mistake again?
Unless you forget it and then you make the same mistake and then you're like, oh wait, I did that before. Failure is an option, but failure is a lesson. Whether it's, if you're a little kid in school and you get a bad grade, why did you get a bad grade? And you look at your test and you read your test and you go, who was the first president of the United States? Why did I put Abraham Lincoln? Because that's the first one that popped into your mind, so you wrote it down. Now you read the question to yourself, and now you know it's like, oh, I knew that. Why did
I still think Stretch Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon.
Forgive me, Stretch Armstrong. I mean, that's going back, to my childhood.
Ryder's really into with the the space program right now. He's into space, and he keeps telling me about Neil Armstrong, and I keep calling him
Stretch Armstrong. That's fantastic. But Andy, you've talked about your reading and certain things, and you brought up how you were standing there the one time, and the guy came down and behind you and pulled your pants down. And what did you do?
I was mad. Picked him up, stuffed him into a locker, and I was about to go whaling before the teacher saved the day.
But you were embarrassed.
Oh yeah.
Which embarrassment led to that?
Anger.
You said it, Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
I thought say it.
Hate leads. I forget it now.
No, I don't remember it. So I never remember it. I'm sorry for you Star Wars lovers. Yeah, I don't remember it, but it's gonna come to you at the, whatever. But when it comes to failing and embarrassment, the stress,
fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
And it's all true. It's there. Ooh, did you hear that?
That's right.
We were at my first tournament. Okay, let me back up real quick. I just thought of this. So in the first episode, I talked about how I will bring up how I got into martial arts.
I'm going to need to talk about tournament too, even though I've never been in one. But
okay,
go ahead.
So I have to bring this up. So when Michaela first started in martial arts, she started at a different school, and then a couple months into it, she got sick. But she wasn't sick. But she was sick. She couldn't get off the couch. But she didn't have a fever. She wasn't throwing up. She was just like tired all the time. So she missed about 2 weeks, went back to class, didn't want to go back to class. In fact, she really couldn't even stay awake a lot. So that was concerning. But then she went to class and said, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. Which was confusing because this is what the girl wanted to do.
Right.
Since she was able to walk, talk, whatever. This is what she wanted to do. She wanted to do martial arts. So we took her down. She watched a class and was like, yes. She gets in the truck and she's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like, why? She's like, I don't know. I just don't want to. Which leads to another note of mine. I just thought of that too. And I was concerned. So I talked to the head instructor and he was like, no, you can't let her quit. Like, she's in second grade. She's one of my, better students. Like, she listens, she tries. Even when she doesn't know, she doesn't get embarrassed. She just moves on, and she still does it to this day. If she forgets something over, she's like, okay, and boom, moves on to the next thing. It's fantastic. I wish I had that. I don't. In all of that, she goes back to class and I'm watching things and she wants to quit. Talk to Sean, who I brought up. His son went to the CS Kim, but went up here to Sarver. I talked to Sean and he was like, take her up. So I called that instructor, Master Sackett. I talked to him and he's like, yeah, bring her up. So I call Master Venturino and I just said, hey, is it okay if I take her up to this other school? My friend's son goes there. So, take her up there. Well, one thing leads to another, and she's like, yeah, I want to be here. And she ended up knowing Master Sackett's daughter, which was
the world's
awesome.
So small, but it's so big.
Right, they went to school together. So it was like she walked in and she sees her, and she's like, it's like instant boom. And the first time she was there, she started talking to this other girl, and which I was like, that's fantastic. Like, she's here 5 minutes and she's talking to somebody, which I noticed didn't happen at the other place for whatever reason. So we get up there, and in our test periods, every 3 months, there's a test, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the test is a test, but the test is a class. You go through the same things in the test as you do in the class. It's to make you have a goal. This is your requirement. Go from here. So I'm watching. And I'm watching. And I'm like, why is she behind? Why does it seem like she doesn't know what she's doing? This is weird to me. As a dad, that's what you focus on. Why is this person not doing this? So some things happen during sparring. Again, she's in second grade. She gets kicked below the belt. She's, going to cry, as I would. Right? And after the test, she comes over, and as a dad, and I'll keep saying that as a dad, because a lot of you parents out there do this, no matter the sport, you do it. I go, what was that? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you acted like you didn't know what you were doing. And I could see it, which means everybody saw it. There's the anger part, because I was afraid of her being embarrassed. Not thinking. So she goes, well, for this rank, you have to learn 2 forms, and I didn't learn the second form. And I basically was like, that's bull. You should have learned it. Not remembering that she missed almost a whole month. Yeah. And then goes to a different school. And not seeing how other things went. She stands up. And this is the story I mentioned in the first episode of how she challenged an adult. And she was upset. She was mad at me for calling her a liar, basically. She stood up and puts her on her little chest and goes, if you know so much, why aren't you doing it?
Bam.
And that was it. She didn't talk to me the whole ride home. The next day, as I said, I go to work, and I'm a stonemason. That's one of my trades, and I'm picking up stone.
I knew you rocked.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
As big as this table, and I'm walking them, and the guy that I'm working with, he's like, well, what's wrong with you? And I tell him the story. And he goes, what are you going to do? Go play Karate Kid? And I'm like, what are you saying? He's like, you can't. Like, your feet are messed up, your fingers are twisted, your back is screwed up, you're this, you're that. And I got mad. And then I'm like, well, what if I do? And he kind of starts picking on me about it. And as an adult, I'm like, whatever. Okay, it's a challenge. But it's not a challenge from him. It was a challenge from my daughter. And I walked in. After work, I went up there, and I signed up that day. It wasn't to prove her wrong. It was to prove that, number one, I can do it. And she was right. She was right. How dare me sit there and say, you should have known this, you should have done that, when I didn't do it. She challenged me. I accepted it. So, the fear and embarrassment part. Was I afraid to sign up? Absolutely not. Until that first class. And I was afraid of being embarrassed. Because I'm an adult. I'm a man. I should know these things. Why should I know them? I didn't think of it then. I shouldn't have known anything. I was a beginner.
We talked about that the first episode, about how as a senior belt, the junior belt comes up, I gotta prove what I know to this guy instead of I'm gonna learn something.
Yeah. And that goes to the next thing. My first tournament was in Washington, D.C. It was a world tournament. We had people from 11 to 13 other countries. How cool is that? That's awesome. Fun. That's really neat. Nobody speaks English, but we're all involved in the same federation, so we all know Korean. You got people from Argentina, Chile, Germany, Panama, you name it, Mexico. None of us speak the same language, but we all know what our form is called in Korean. We all know what our things are called in Korean, our basics, our self-defense, all that stuff. We all speak Korean, even though we don't know what we're saying, except for that. So I'm warming up for my form, right? And Michaela's going, you're turning the wrong way. You're turning the wrong way. It was form number 2, Kyung Ito. Mm-hmm. You're using the wrong foot. I'm like, really? She says, yes, it's this. Now, again, this is 2018. Okay, she's 8 years old. and she's telling me what I'm doing wrong. She is now my teacher. I have an 9-year-old teaching me. And I'm going, are you sure? Yes. Okay. And I started doing it correctly. She's like, you're doing it right. You're doing it right. You're doing it right. I'm like, great. Get the confidence. I go up, I bow in, I do my form, 1, 2, 3. The fourth move, I go to turn. No, the second move, actually. I go to turn, and all I hear from the background, wrong way, in front of everybody. And it didn't dawn on me until afterwards. I got embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. But I learned to move on from it. But I never forgot that. And I still almost turned the wrong way because of that. You know? So yeah, failure is always an option.
I think so I used to play recreational deck hockey.
That's right. I remember you saying
Yeah,
that.
and I was a goalie, and we did like 30 and over beer league. But I remember always telling myself in the net what not to do, what not to do, and guess what happened?
You set yourself up for failure.
I did the what not to do because in my mind it was don't go down too early, don't go down too early, and eventually I trained myself to not even think about hockey at all through the entire game. My thought process would be like, if they're on a breakaway, my mind is focused, my muscles are where they're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Subconsciously, I'm playing the game, but in my mind, I'm like, what am I going to make for dinner tonight? Or in that situation from yesterday, what would I have done? Next thing you know, I have a puck in my glove.
Because you're trying to relax your mind, you're trying to relax your body for that, whatever shot coming in. It's absolutely, I totally understand.
But it's that same aspect, like don't turn the wrong way. Don't turn the wrong way. All of a sudden, we turn
the wrong way. Tell a baseball player not to strike out. What are they going to do? Hey, this game, our next point relies on you. If you get a hit, we win the game. No pressure. It's okay. It's why I just said, you parents out there, you do it. We all do it. I'm not talking crap, but I am telling the truth. Well,
it's good to know not what to do, but in the heat of the moment, you want to be thinking of what to do,
and you might not know what not to do. Why?
Right.
Because this is my other favorite saying, which is not in my notes. It might be in my notes somewhere. I have no idea. But you do not know what you don't know until you don't know.
Until you know what you don't know.
Yeah.
No.
See? But with all of that does come the fear. You and goalie. You don't want to let up a goal.
Right.
You're afraid to let up a goal. So now you're like, boom, 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 boom. Same with, martial arts. Same with work. Same with a kid going in to take a test at school, going in for an interview. How many interviews have you done in your life where you're nervous walking in? You don't want to say the wrong thing.
Each and every one.
And then all of a sudden you're like, did I say the wrong thing? Did I say the wrong thing? Did I say the wrong thing? Now your anxiety kicks in. Why? Because you're embarrassed because you said the wrong thing. At least you think you said the wrong thing.
It's like every time I go up to preach, I always they say, picture yourself naked.
I don't want to picture. I don't even look in the mirror. This is why I wear a hat.
I picture myself naked and I'm already embarrassed.
Right.
I don't have to worry about being more. Your message was a little short.
But
so let me. I said I needed to talk about, and I don't want to interrupt because this is your episode, but tournaments. I never did tournaments.
Right.
Everybody tried to get me, and my mindset of tournaments at the time was, I wasn't good at tung sudo. Like, I wasn't terrible, but I wasn't good. But the school had expectation. I was like, I don't think I can live up to the expectation of going. At the time, I wasn't prepared for it. And I thought to myself, like, at this stage in who I am, there's expectation that you're going to go to the tournament and you're going to do well. So if I go to the tournament,
go ahead.
If I go to the tournament and I do well, I did what was expected. But if I go to the tournament and I do poorly, it felt like a no-win scenario for me at the time because I don't know. I just mentally I wasn't who I am today.
Right. And as you were talking about, the school expects, I can tell you from experience that that is what we all hear from our instructors, our coaches, no matter the sport. MMA is a big thing now. Football, Western Pennsylvania, football, all this stuff. That's what we think. And a lot of it is true. A lot of it is, our coaches expect us to win. They expect us to do good. Our parents expect us to do good on a test.
Mine didn't.
Now, saying all that, I can tell you from past experiences, and again, I can't speak for all the instructors in any martial arts, but I can talk about the ones I've had. Not one of those instructors ever said to me or other people that I know of, they expect you to win.
Right.
And maybe some of them don't say that enough.
Because we
You
put that
know?
assumption, we make it ourselves like he's telling me to go because I think that he expects that I'm going to do very, very well.
Right. And the whole reason, that I think a lot of people lost um, in sports in general is they want you to prove to yourself that you can do it, not the tournament, but you can go and have that fear and embarrassment for yourself, but go and do it. You go in front of those judges and then you do your thing and you're like, I messed up. This sucks. And then you start doing this, and then you start walking around. You're doing this, and you look up and you see another person, and you're like, look how great they did. And then all of a sudden you get clammy, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done this. And while you're down on yourself, you didn't see the other person who went maybe right after you.
You turned the wrong way.
Not only did they turn the wrong way, they actually stopped in the middle of whatever they were doing and bowed out, which I have seen. I've seen black belts do it. In the middle of a form that they've been doing for a long time, stop in the middle of their form, turn to the judges and bow out. And a judge will say, the head judge will say, are you sure you want to bow out or do you want to give it another try? And I have seen at least 75% of the time that person say, I'm done, sir, or I'm done, man.
Everybody gives up.
And it's not that they can't do it, but they forgot what they were doing for whatever reason. We all have mind blanks, we all do. But they got embarrassed in their own mind and they shut down. And that is just what happens. But competition is good. It teaches you failure. It teaches you the mistakes. And if you can't pick it out, that is where the parent, the coach, husband and wife, your instructor, that's where they come in to help you with that lesson. That's what they're supposed to teach you. Yes, you got embarrassed because you stopped. Or you got embarrassed because you lost at sparring. I've lost at sparring. I had a gentleman do a jump back kick on me, right dead center in the chest. I look like a cartoon character. My feet kept going, but my body stopped. I hit the ground. And no lie, I wasn't even thinking. I hit the ground and I let out oh, that was beautiful. And I wasn't even embarrassed because it was such a beautiful kick. I wasn't embarrassed. I wasn't afraid. But the first time I ever sparred that gentleman, and him and I sparred a lot, and he's from Buffalo, from Taekwondo. And him and I have sparred a lot. And every time we see each other, we both get this big smile and we shake each other's hand because now it's a mutual respect. Mm-hmm. We don't go out trying to hurt each other, but we both want to win.
Right.
But the first time I had to spar him, was I afraid? I don't want to say afraid. Was I nervous? Absolutely. He's a full head taller than me. And when you watch him warm up, you're like, really? Really? I got to go against this guy? The anxiety kicks in, the stress kicks in, and I lost. Beautiful side kick right to the face.
Done.
Lost.
Well, good.
But I remember that. Did I practice how to block side kicks? Absolutely. Am I great at blocking side kicks? Absolutely not.
But
It's
you're
just-
better at it now.
I don't know. There's certain as I said before, there's certain things in life that no matter how much you practice, you can't see, you can't visualize something, and there's something with certain things that I'm like, boom, whatever. But and I'm going to keep repeating the fear and embarrassment. Those two
That's
things.
what it's about.
I'm going to keep repeating it. Another thing that jumps into the fear and embarrassment part is, I'm sure you can relate to this. Everybody can relate to this. If you can't relate to it,
You're lying.
yeah, you're absolutely lying. Are cliques in society, and I'm going to swear, they piss me off. They get under my skin so bad. And the reason why is because certain cliques are meant to embarrass people.
Absolutely.
Watch any 80s movie. I'll go back to 80s movies. You know, we're talking about martial arts.
Read The Outsiders.
Morgan, my youngest, is going to lose her mind that you brought up The Outsiders, because that's one of the. She loves The Outsiders. Not only does she love The Outsiders,
I said that for you, Morgan.
she actually has outsider quotes on her Converse,
That's
on her
awesome.
Chucks. She wrote on there. She has for bowling. She has these little tiny ducks that she puts on the table like a good luck type of thing, and she named them all.
Soda Pop.
You know, the
Pony Boy.
but she has a pink one, and she was going to name it Johnny, and I'm like, that's Cherry. Look at this Cherry. She goes, Cherry
so
it
funny.
is. So that's great that you brought up The
Yeah.
Outsiders. But cliques drive me up a wall. I see it. It's in martial arts. It's in sports. It's in school.
Dude,
it's in adults.
It's in our church.
Right. And
I think it's okay that we gravitate to certain people is like our core group, but to be
Mhm.
like
When
just
you-
us.
When you start gravitating towards a group because you think they're cool, or you think they're important, or you're like, well, you know, the boss, the coach, the whatever, your supposed mentor, you start gravitating towards a group because they're the cool ones. Now you are not yourself. And when you're not yourself,
You're lame.
you get embarrassed. You get up there and they're talking about something, and you, number one, you might not care what they're talking about, so you kind of get that fake smile. And then when you get the fake smile or the fake laugh, everyone, you're like, they're looking at me, they know.
Dude, so I gotta tell a story if it's cool.
No, go
Last
ahead.
night, Ryder and I were in a rush home and he's telling me the story about the Bible in the car.
Mhm.
He had a birthday party just down the street that we went to.
Okay.
His best school friend. So they're like, hey, do you want to stay? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'll meet the parents of the kids, you know. And as soon as I get there, they're all talking about baseball and basketball, which is something I have like no clue. I'm a racer. I'm a petrol head. Like,
Right.
So his wife starts talking about these camping trips, and they bring up Pikes Peak. I'm like, I used to love watching rally racing before it was paved with all the cars going up. And they're like, so baseball and basketball, and I'm like, I'm sitting on the couch by myself, like I don't know
I
the
can't
first thing
relate.
about
Yeah.
it, and here I am, like, car racing, anybody? And they're like, no. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna sit on the couch. And I'm
Right,
gonna watch
because
my
they
son
have
fun.
that thing that they are talking about. Now, someone, I guarantee you, in their head was going,
I know.
What's no. They don't know anything about it.
Ah.
And you clicked something in somebody's head, but they're part of something. So they did not want to speak out of terms. They didn't want to know about what you were talking about. Why? Because you have 10 people here and you're the one person here. They outweigh you.
Yep.
And those type of clicks, and it is literally everywhere, and I see it. And again, it's like,
So, like,
you're not better than this other person. You know, and adults, teenagers, you know, little kids learn it from the older kids, who learn it from the older kids, who learn it from the adults.
So she was talking like the one person was like, "What's Pikes Peak?" And she's like, "Oh, it's the world's highest paved road." And I'm like, "It used to not be paved." And that's what made it special. And then for us, it was a big deal when they paved it because we lost the dirt racing. They still rally race up it, but it's not the same.
Okay, so I don't know that much about racing. So what's rally racing?
Running on the dirt.
So the dirt tracks, which is
Well,
they
like
have one right up here, right?
Lernerville's not rally racing. That's dirt racing. Rally racing is you have point A to point B, so it's not a circle. It's like it's a circuit. You're
Okay,
going from one spot to the other, and
like they do in the desert racing.
yes, very
Okay.
much like that. And so you have a driver and you have a co-driver because the co-driver is like, this is the next term. The track's so long that they have to have a co-driver to say, like, it's this type of turn. You're
So
taking
you have
it.
Lone Star and
Yes,
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's awesome, and these are the kind of races where they hit a jump and they're in the air and they come down and they flip and the car rolls and they get out and they flip the car back over, and if it's okay they keep going, or it goes off of a hill into a pond and they have to get out.
And see, if someone would have asked you that, they would have been like,
I
"They
would
do
have
what?"
I would have brought up videos and be like,
Right? They do what?
so like what's cool about it is the guys that roll into the ponds, they have their notes.
They roll in the ponds.
They roll in the ponds, and the co-driver has his notes.
Okay.
And you'll see, you can watch videos of them like airing out the notes for the next heat, the next day in their hotel room. They're airing out the notes. It got wet. It's so cool.
That's cool. See, I didn't know any of that. And I'm sure a lot of you didn't know any of that. We think of racing, and what do we think about? Everybody's going left. Or Formula One, where they go this, and obviously, the car's going this way, and it goes up and
so like rally racing is all time trial because you can't have overtaking on the track. So one car will go out and they get clocked in the next car and the next car and the next car. So they space them out. That way you're not,
because it's a timed event.
Yeah.
From point A to point B.
Right.
As long as you can get to point B.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know anything about
rally
that.
racing.
I'm glad you brought that up because again, I wouldn't have known anything.
And it was built up, so I'm glad you let me get it because I was like sitting there all night like, it's in there, it's up, but there was clicks, and I was the only one in the racing click.
Yeah, and it happens, and I see it. I see it in martial arts when you got these group of people standing somewhere, and they're watching this one person practice and train, and they're looking at this person like, why aren't they talking, or why are they practicing and training and not socializing? Because they're at class, they are there they want to better themselves through their practice. It's why you see the kid outside with a baseball, throwing a baseball up in the air. Oh, he's tossing a ball. No, he's not. He's learning how to catch pop flies. Right. That's what it is. Like these clicks that people have thinking that they're right is just absolutely asinine. It drives me up a wall. It's always driven me up a wall since I was a kid. Was I part of a clique? Absolutely, I was part of a clique. But I was part of the clique that everybody else looked down on. We all had the long hair, and the earrings.
What's funny?
And all that other stuff.
So like all of the things that I did as a kid, skateboarder wasn't cool. We played D&D. Like we were the D&D kids too. D&D is so cool now that I'm like, dude, you should have been there.
Stranger Things took nerding out.
Not only that, there's like
that and just
even before Stranger Things, it became cool because they did podcasts and like famous people were playing D&D on YouTube and the internet. Yeah.
See, I don't
voice
know.
actors and stuff. So like 5th edition came out and it changed the D&D game forever.
There's a 5th edition.
Yeah, we used to play 2nd edition. Is how cool we were.
And you had a table.
Oh yeah, you? It's in the other room.
I forgot. I remember you showed me that the first time I was here. And I've talked to people about it, but I don't understand D&D to save my life because I've never played it. No one ever said to me, "This is what this is." But I've always thought like the Dungeons and Dragons. Come on, it's an awesome title.
You would dig it. Maybe one day I'm going to resurrect the table and get my books out and we'll talk about it.
I know at least one or two people that I will bring over, and they will be like, Okay, I can get into this.
Yeah, it's fun.
You
I mean,
know,
we had there's just so many good times at the D&D table. Even as kids, like it's a Friday night, everyone's going to party. What are we doing? We're getting together at the D&D table. We go to the Sheets. We get our snacks. It wasn't
nice.
Sheets at the time. It was whatever.
And they
But
didn't have the choms
it was
back then.
dude. We would house Turner's Tea in
And
whatever
for those of
snacks.
you who don't know that is a local, I don't want to use the word delicacy, but is a local favorite of Turner's iced tea.
Mm-hmm.
Turner's iced tea, I mean, we all grew up drinking that, getting hopped up on the sugar and the sweetness.
And the plastic carton, and if you're cool, you got the little mini plastic carton.
Absolutely.
That's going to be on the table for the next
You
episode.
can grab it.
Yeah, probably.
That's fantastic. But yeah, the cliques, you know, a lot of those are set up in a certain way, whether it's social environment or, you know, you want to be part of the cool kids. And we all do. We all want to be cool. And growing up, my people were cool. You know, we listened to rock and roll and heavy metal. We had the long hair and the earrings. You know, in fact, there was a time, you brought up the Outsiders. There was a time where a bunch of us got together, you know, at a certain place, and it was at night. And there was some crap going on with people from a different neighborhood. And we were all talking about it. And all of a sudden, one guy comes running over the hill. And it was one of our friends, but we didn't know who it was. Comes running the hill, and there was a graveyard right there. He comes running over the hill, and the first thing he says, "Nobody starts a rumble without me." And it was like Outsiders. And none of us were mad anymore. We all just started laughing, and next thing you know, we're imitating the Outsiders.
That's so funny.
And it was absolutely one of those things that needed to be done to get us out of our mindset of, you know, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go find these dudes. And now it was just, hey, let's just go have fun.
Yeah. So,
you know,
there's a big thing to be said about that. Hockey game once. We were losing, not by a lot, by like maybe one goal. It's the third period, and we're in this building that was getting shut down. In fact, we could only have a certain amount of lights on because not the health department, but the fire department shut them down for being out of code. And we couldn't turn on one set of lights because the cameras would come on, and they
start
did
hanging flashlights just in case.
So like, it should have been an annihilation game, and each and every one of us were embarrassed. I was in net. I couldn't see the puck to save my life. Like,
Okay.
it could have been a beach ball, and every single one would have went past me. And third period starts, and they stopped the game because there was something wrong with the backboards. So the refs are looking at it, and my team's hanging out at the bench, and I decide to skate over, and I take my goalie mask off. I'm like, man, I hope they fix it. I'd hate for them to have to shut the place down. And everybody started laughing, and we went from here to here. We crushed it. From there on, I didn't let a single goal in, and we were scoring left and right, and we won, and we crushed it. And it was just one silly little thing can change the mindset from embarrassment to like,
yeah,
who cares?
Yeah. And you know what? You bringing that up makes me think of why I am the way I am at tournaments. You got all that pressure. You want to do good for yourself, but you want to do good
For the school.
No,
No.
for bragging rights.
That too, yeah.
You know how many kids are the best at tournaments and the worst at tournaments as an adult looking at them, not worst in their behavior, because there's so many of them that are so respectful. You know, they see you and they bow and you're like, oh, hi. You know, it's great. But they walk around with their medals, cha-ching, 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 and they're walking around. They're so proud of their medals, whether it's third place, first place, second place. They don't care. They have a medal when they're walking around. You know, but yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like thinking of the little kids now. And I'm like, that's so cool. But at tournaments, I used to focus. That's my opponent. That's my enemy. That's who I'm going to beat. Watch this. Watch that. I could do this. I could do that.
I can get kicked in the face.
Absolutely. But now I turned into the guy that everybody thinks I'm not. I turned into the guy who just walks around and I talk to people and I joke around. Even in the middle of the ring, I have joked around with somebody while sparring. And I did it in Maryland at a tournament. Me and this guy, we're locked up and we're throwing punches left and right. And we both stopped and I looked around and went, "What? Nothing? Nobody?" He started laughing. The judges started laughing and he kicks me and scores a point. I'm like, really? I had it. My brain kicked into that de-escalate the anxiousness, I don't want to use the word hostility, but that nervousness. And I said something and everybody laughed and he was like, boom. And I'm like, okay.
You earned it.
He got me. And I was a little embarrassed by that. I'm not going to lie. It's the first time I ever brought it up. I was embarrassed by it because I was like, why did I do that? Because I got nervous. I got nervous because it was like, what's going on? And I didn't want to go from the nervousness to the fear part, because once the nervousness to the fear part kicks in, your emotions kick in. And what happens when emotions kick in? You do not think straight. You don't think straight. How many arguments have you had in your life with somebody where your emotions kicked in and then boom, something comes out of your mouth where you're like, in your head, you're like, I didn't mean to say that, but I said it. So now you're mad at yourself, and then this person's mad, and then the emotions kick in, and then you're
It's harder to put a word back in than it is for it to come out.
Never heard that before. That's fantastic.
I just made it up now.
You gotta write that down. That needs to be a note. But as we're talking about fear and embarrassment and social situations, which all of these are, I got to bring up the next little note that I have is dress appropriately. Read the room. Read the damn room. If people were there, I don't want to say, okay, here. I was in a situation, I was somewhere where there were very important people in my life that were there. Okay. And there were people there that I don't know, but there was a person there, the only person there, who I don't want to say was dressed inappropriately, but they had on these shorts where they had to keep pulling them down just a little bit. And they had the opportunity to get in front of all these people who I feel are so important to a lot of people. And somebody, another adult male, came up to me and they were like, "What's with these shorts?" And they were mad, but they were embarrassed because this person has a daughter. And I don't mean a teenage daughter, I mean a little daughter. And then he starts telling me a story how she came downstairs to go to school or something, and she had on these shorts. And he's like, "Absolutely not. You're going to go up and change." Was there anything wrong with the shorts? No, everybody's wearing those type of shorts. But he, as a father, was embarrassed for the daughter because they are little shorts. There's those new basketball type shorts that everybody's starting to wear.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But this person was an older teenager. She didn't look. She didn't look terrible. She didn't look inappropriate from the waist up. But in my mind, that was inappropriate. When you're getting up in front of people, anybody, and the first thing you have to do is pull your shorts down or pull your top up. It's inappropriate. It is embarrassing for other people who are watching.
We don't think about that as much of our actions embarrassing other people or the people we represent.
Right. And I probably wouldn't have thought about it if it wasn't brought up to me. And I'm embarrassed for other people. That was brought up to me and I was like, yeah, I never really thought of it like that while I was thinking of all this. And if you guys couldn't tell, this is something that I am passionate about, is the fear and embarrassment, because we all do go through it. But there was another gentleman at this same place who was extremely out of place by the way he dressed. He had long hair, you know, but he didn't look scummy. Like, his hair was brushed. He walked out in the sun and it was like a lion's mane, you know.
Fabio.
Yeah, the same color too.
Oh.
But he was real quiet, and you can tell he was looking around at people looking at him. Was he embarrassed? I don't know. But I hope that he wasn't, because that is his style, that is his fashion choice. But as a parent, his parents should have told him, hey, there's a time and a place, as it was told to me, and I was a little rebel, as I have said before. I didn't understand. But there's a time and a place to be your own person, but there's a time and a place to not be. When you are representing not yourself, maybe your older, younger siblings, your parents, your coaches, your friend. You're not going to go to a wedding dressed in, little shorts and a tank top, especially as a guy, hopefully. But you're not going to go to a wedding or a funeral dressed inappropriately. So there's certain social situations to where we all, as adults, need to put that on the back burner and maybe not tell a kid, this is not what you're wearing because I said so. It's embarrassing. You're going to embarrass us. Yeah, but you need to explain it to them where, hey, this is the way this event is. You are going to feel embarrassed. You are not representing yourself. Have your own style, have your own thoughts, have your own music, but I will not let you, as a parent, coach, mentor, I will not let you embarrass yourself. I will not let you think, look at all these people looking at me. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have worn this.
I had a job interview once at one of the dealerships, and I wore a shirt and a tie and dress pants. I sit down for the interview, and the manager who was interviewing me says, "Aren't you a little overdressed for an interview to be a mechanic?" I was like, "What are you talking about? I'm representing myself right now. I'm not working on a car." And
that's perfect.
That's what I said. And I was like, I'd rather be overdressed for this situation than underdressed.
How many people do you think would have said it like that?
I don't know.
Or thought
I got the job.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that. I would have been embarrassed. I would have thought, like, I did something wrong.
There was a part of me that thought that, but I was like, I probably better answer this question.
Right, but see, that would have been my only thought. And I know myself. I've met myself. I've been inside my own mind. I would have tanked that interview because I would have been embarrassed, upset. The fear would have jumped into my mind of, I'm going to say something wrong, and why am I going to say something wrong? Who is this guy to tell me that I'm overdressed? See how that wormhole, that rabbit hole jumps in. It turns up, and then I jump in. I can't help that. That's the fear. That's an embarrassment. Right. And every one of you have done it.
We've all done it.
Every one of us. I know people that say, I've never done that. Yeah, right?
Really? Well, even that situation, it had derailed my whole plan of, like, this is the interview plan. I'm going to come in and this is what I can do. This is my skill set. This is where I went to school. This is where I learned all of the stuff. And Mike Tyson says it the best. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
I love that you brought that up. It's true.
I use that in sermons all the time because it's such
especially if you get punched in the face.
Right. We've been punched in the face. Like, we've been there. And
I think you've punched me in the face.
You punched me in the face. But
not on purpose.
Right. Me neither. But I'd rather get punched in the face by a friend because it teaches you how to get punched in the face.
Because It's a learning experience.
Right.
You failed to block it, so now your thought process, I need to learn how to block that. I
Yeah.
failed at this, I should probably learn. And in saying all that, that leads me to my next, note is if you could tell a kid under 20 years old, I will say that, under 20 years old, if you could tell a kid or yell at a kid to fix something, they should know something, you should be able to tell an adult. And if the adult is standing next to that kid doing the exact same thing as the kid, that adult better be able to take it. And I can guarantee you they probably won't. Because now they're embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
And the embarrassment leads to the fear leads to the anger, and now they have to act it out.
Right.
Watch any social media video where someone's yelling at somebody. Why are they yelling at that person? What happened? And it's the same, like I've said to people, people think I'm a certain way, but why am I that way? What led me to that point? Did I overreact? There's a good possibility that I overreacted. Why did I overreact? Because I either got embarrassed, didn't understand, so now I'm embarrassed because I didn't understand what they were talking about, and now I'm afraid that people are looking at me, and what happens? Boom! Every one of us look at the people, and again, we're not going to talk politics, but that's exactly what happens in politics. Someone was offended because that person called them out because they didn't believe that that person's belief was right. And they think they're right in their own mind, just like this side thinks that they're right in their own mind. And God forbid that they have I got to say it, a blended, see what I did there? Conversation.
Right. Let's just fight.
Yeah, let's just argue and let's see who can yell loudest. Let's see whose fist is bigger, because that's a big thing on social media now is, not, MMA fights or boxing or martial arts on TV. It's this person laying out this person on the street, and everybody has a video camera. And, the person who gets laid out, oh, that's embarrassing. Well, what's embarrassing is the fact to me is you have 30 people out there with a cell phone, and not one of you are trying to de-escalate the problem. There's always going to be fistfights. There was always fistfights. I love that. Michaela does that sometimes in sparring, and like people are like, "What?" And I have to stop because I start laughing. But one of the most
the legacy lives on.
Absolutely, and she will keep that going, and it's great. But one of the most famous people in history that maybe not a lot of people think about, or two people, I'll throw that out there, is Cornelius Vanderbilt, the admiral, who was at an early age famous for bare knuckle fights. He won money, yeah, in bare knuckle fights. That's what they did. Abraham Lincoln was known as a fighter slash wrestler. As quiet as everybody thinks he was, dignified, absolutely not. That man, those two men, used to fight constantly for whatever the reason. Anyways.
Speaking of Abraham Lincoln, are you familiar with...
Did you say Abe Lincoln?
Hey, Abraham. Are you familiar with Milton Bradley and his picture of Abraham Lincoln?
I know it, but I can't remember.
He was selling pictures of Abraham Lincoln pre-beard. And then they were like, when Abraham Lincoln was going to run for president, he grew the beard. So then Milton Bradley had all this printing stuff and was like, now what am I going to do? So he made The Game of Life.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
And it blew up because of the wars and everything. So they're getting it for soldiers to have something to do in the off time in The Game of Life. And Milton Bradley, because
they're de-escalating the soldiers. They're taking the fear,
redirecting
and
mind.
Redirecting it, which is something we all really need to learn how to do. I try. Every time, when even my boss calls me, I know it's not that I'm in trouble. I know it's not something I did wrong, but what if it was?
Dude, so a guy that ran the men's group with me, one day, Pastor Dave from church, he's like, hey, I want to talk to both of you after church. And I'm like, cool, whatever. It's all good. And he's like, I feel like we're being caught into the principal's office. I'm like, it's church. You're either going to become a better Christian or you're going to have a task to do. Like, there's no, you're not going to get fired from church.
Right.
You're going to the principal's office. I'm like, what are you talking about?
You smell funny. We don't want you.
Yeah, sorry. Here's
Yeah.
your ejection letters.
I'm sure it's happened.
Heaven's full.
I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure someone has said, we don't want you.
Dude, when we moved into the building, we found their blank member ejection forms.
Really?
And the reason we got the building was because the pastor was sleeping with somebody's wife.
Yeah, that's frowned upon.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's embarrassing. There's another word. I told you I'm gonna keep saying it, and somebody's probably gonna type in, you repeated yourself, or yeah, I know.
That's your new, instead of right? No, that I'm right. What's your
That's what I always said. And for those of you who partake in a shot of adult beverage, can make that into a drinking game.
Right.
Every time I say you're probably gonna get annihilated in the first 20 minutes.
We're gonna run down the Punta Cana, get a bottle of Mama Juana, and
That's what you were talking about earlier.
it's awesome,
right?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
You don't have to,
Before we hit record, we didn't hit record.
Do we hit record? Don't do that to me because it scares me, and then I
And
get
you
embarrassed.
Then you get angry.
No. I do not get angry, but no, like the first time you did it to me. Okay, I watched my face and I listened to my voice, and if you watch carefully, if you know me well enough, you can hear the little bit of skittishness. And if you watch my face, I actually do get embarrassed a little bit because I fell for it. And I remember like my face getting warm.
We were like an hour.
And if we were in a spotlight, my face would be as red as part of your shirt. So yeah, that kind of that scared me a little bit.
I like to set the mood lighting in here, no spotlight, just mood lighting.
Thank God we don't have a spotlight.
I don't get you in an empty room that often.
That's frightening and embarrassing. I blended those two words together.
It's perfect.
But one of the other things two of the other things I want to talk about is I was talking about how if you call out a kid for something they did wrong, and you better be able to call out an adult. And the adult better be able to take it. If they can't take it, the person doing the calling out needs to express that, yeah, you did this just as bad as the kid. You're going to hear about it. And that is a lot of the problem is coaches, mentors, they yell at a kid. Let me rephrase that. They yell to the kid. But they're yelling to the kid for everybody to hear. But that kid is embarrassed. But it's supposed to be a lesson for everybody to understand. And then you have an adult standing right next to them doing the same thing. Because, well, that's a kid. I'm not, that doesn't relate to me.
Or a kid on the other team's doing it and the coach is like, dude, it's cool. Just reset this way.
Yeah. But as an adult, I see it. And they don't get held accountable for it. But the adult will very quickly point out what a kid's doing wrong. And they're doing it wrong. They are teaching it wrong. They're doing it wrong. And as the kid is looking at that person, I see it in baseball, softball. I can't say bowling because I do not know that much about bowling.
And let's face it, music. Your kids aren't going to become professional athletes. Most likely.
Yeah. It's going to happen, especially in certain sports. It's not going to happen. I see it. And like I was talking about bowling. And I bring up things that I do know. Okay? I know about bowling because I watch it a lot with Morgan. Morgan knows. I do not know anything about bowling since she first started and her average was a 27. I would just tell her, hey, hit the pins. Hit the ones standing up. Oh, you got a gutter. You're out of the family.
Done. Sorry.
Sorry, you got to walk home. And she would laugh and, all that other stuff. But now I don't know bowling. Who am I, as Michaela said, who am I to even tell her what to do when I don't know what I'm doing. And I take it as the same thing. I have grown up enough in my life to be able to ask people for help,
Mhm.
as I have mentioned before. I will actually ask Morgan, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to bowling. She says yes. I said, okay, so you have a look on your face of frustration. What did you do wrong? What do you think you did wrong? Tell me what you did wrong. And she'll tell me. And I go, well, do you know how to fix it? She'll go, yeah. And I'll go,
Okay.
okay, well, how? Well, you got to move 2 boards to the left. Well, why are you moving 2 boards to the left when your ball went to the left? Shouldn't you be moving 2 boards to the right so that your ball doesn't go? No, it's the oil pattern. Okay, well, there's how many different oil patterns? I, what do you mean? Well, this oil pattern is very heavy on the outsides, not the inside. Or this oil pattern is very heavy on the inside to one point, but if you get it out too far, it's going to hook too hard to the left. So you move to the left to get it out, starting from the left to the right.
I never knew that.
And I'm going, do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When Ryder, he's in the soccer. I don't. You kick the ball. It's all
You
like, don't
run
use your
this
hands.
way.
Right. And so I'm like, listen to your coach.
They're supposed to know what they're doing. But if you did know and the coach didn't, now you're mad because the coach isn't teaching. And now I'm going to use the word again. Now you're embarrassed, not just for your child. You're embarrassed for the whole team. You're embarrassed for other people because somebody somewhere is going, they should know what they're doing. That's the coach's fault. That's the coach's problem. And they're right. It is the coach's
Right.
problem. But a lot of times the coach is the coach because nobody else would do it. And if you know so much, why aren't you doing it? I never signed up to be a coach.
And that's so like
I was voluntold.
I don't know enough. So if the coach says do this and he does that and it's no good, I'm glad that you at least listen to the coach, even if the coach was wrong. Now we know, like, hey, the coach didn't know, but you still followed directions.
Right? Did the coach know he was wrong, or did he think he was right?
Right.
Because they're not. A lot of these coaches, they're not professionals. This isn't their job. They volunteered to do it.
Let's respect the guy that's doing it.
Right, but you can only respect the situation,
right,
as long as the situation doesn't turn into a hostile situation, hostile with words from the coach to the kid. Why? Because the coach will get embarrassed because that kid or even adult made a mistake, which now reflects on the coach in his mind. So now the coach is mad because he's embarrassed, and now he wants to run his mouth and yell at a kid or an adult. And now the other person is embarrassed, which now they get mad and upset. And now, as a kid, the parent is mad because the kid is embarrassed, and now you're embarrassed for your kid. So now you're mad, and then the emotions kick in, and everybody's going to start yelling. I have said this. How many we have? I have been talking mostly for an hour, and what is that, 18 minutes?
Yeah.
And I have said this repeatedly. I have done it, which is why I know it happens. I'm not everybody. Everybody's not me. Thank goodness. But we all have done it. Have you ever felt embarrassed for your child or somebody else's?
Absolutely.
Was it all for the same reasons?
Absolutely not.
Right. That's just the way all this happens. And I do want to get off of this topic a little bit because again, this is a lot like music. I can keep talking about this topic forever.
I'll say one thing too. Like, I think people miss out on so much life because they're afraid to try the thing for the fear of embarrassment.
Absolutely, because we are all conditioned to what if you fail? Yeah. What if you fail? What if you did this? What if you did that? What is this? What is that? And I got a quote One of the people who have helped me in life, mentally and physically, actually, was my chiropractor slash doctor, Dr. Hoper. He's a holistic doctor. If you're in the Pittsburgh area, look him up. Nutrapharmacy, Dr. Hoper. An amazing, holy cow, intelligent guy. He would ask me, I would walk in, and as a chiropractor, everybody, we all know a chiropractor, snap, crackle, pop. But he tells you why he's doing it. It's not just to realign your spine or redo this or introduce fluids back into where they are. Your spine has this, call it a spirituality about it. And when things get in line, what happens in church when people walk in there and you could tell they're not there. But as you're talking, something clicks and things get in line, and all of a sudden they go from this to now they're sitting up straight. So real quick, so my doc, whenever he would say things to me, is, "What's on your mind?" And you would tell him. He would say, like, if I said about upcoming tournament, you know, I don't know how I'm going to do. Why? Well, I don't think that I've practiced enough, or I just don't know. I don't know. You know what he's going to say? As soon as you say you don't know, what if you did know? What do you mean? No one's ever asked me that before.
Yeah, that's a mind blower.
Well, I don't know what to do here. Well, what if you did know? I don't know what to say to this person. What if you did know? And me being me, the one time I said to him, if I knew what to do or knew what to say, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't need you. And he goes, exactly. That's what I want. I don't want to see you all the time. I don't want to see you once a month. I don't want to see you every other month. I like that you're here, but it's my goal to get you to think and to get you to be a better person and to help you mentally, spiritually, physically. That's what he would say. What if you did know? What if you did know? What if we did know certain things? And maybe this episode will help people understand that, yes, every single one of us on the face of the planet is faced with fear, embarrassment, stress, anxiety. You know, when you were born, did you know how to tie your shoes?
I was a genius when I was born. I was already,
You were in the shoes.
creating shoes.
That's awesome.
No,
That's
no, absolutely not.
But did you have a friend that knew how to maybe tie their shoes before you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I still wear slip-ons.
Well, I actually do not have slip-ons today.
I'm wearing my slippers.
There you go. But we've all been embarrassed about something that we didn't know how to do, but somebody else knew how to do. But what if we did know how to do it? We learned it. We learned how to do it. Every single person on the face of the planet has dealt with the same exact thing.
Those people who know how to do it, I would wager to say a great majority of them, like you said, they want to teach you how to do it.
Whenever I got the position at my job, okay, when I became the manager where I am, the general, I'll call him a kid. He was a kid. He was 19 when he showed up. One of the first things I told him in the first 5 minutes is, I do not want to be your boss. And the look on his face, I wish I had a picture, was like, what manager tells you that? I told him, I do not want to be your boss. I want to be your leader. I want to be your teacher. If I have to be your boss, you messed up, not me. If I have to be your boss, you will not like me because I will point out exactly what you did wrong. But if I tell you to do something and you do it and it ends up being wrong because I told you to do it, you better call me out on it. Because what if I think that it's right? What if I've been doing something wrong for 10 or 20 years and not one person has ever brought it to my attention? So obviously I'm going to think it's right. But you got in trouble for doing it. Now you're taking that leadership role. And there has been times where I had to be the boss. But he has learned that when I say something,
I'm sorry.
but he has learned that when I say something that either he doesn't understand, ask. As we talked about before, when you're a kid, you're told, if you didn't know that, why didn't you ask? But as an adult, don't ask stupid questions.
Do you ever watch King of the Hill?
Yeah.
Jimmy Witcher, you want to be the boss? Every time somebody talks about the boss, I think of Jimmy Witcher.
Well, King of the Hill, one of my fun aliases is Rusty Shackleton. Which was Dale Gribble's alias.
Right, I know.
So, but I mean, I can go on this topic all day, and it is very personal to me because I have messed up, I have been embarrassed, I have said the wrong things. I am Mike Kobolansky, and I have messed up in my life. I've messed up a lot. I've messed up. I have said things to where many people looked at me like, "Oh my god." I have done things, and I messed up. I said something one time, and I did not know that I said it, and I literally sat there for almost 2 years, going, "I didn't say it. I didn't say. I know what everybody thinks I said, and everybody heard it, but I didn't say it." And then I watched the entire video. I said it. And I went,
Oh, I'm embarrassed.
I said it. I can't believe I said it. In my head, I didn't say it. I don't remember saying it. And I walked up to this person who I hold in high regards, and I said, yeah, I said it. What do you mean? And I explained it to her, and she was like, what'd you learn?
I'm a jerk.
Keep my emotions in check. Because what happened after that? I got mad, and it was at a tournament, and that sparring match got ugly. It was ugly. I was emotional. The other person was emotional. We were both. It was an ugly match. The greatest thing, which I found irritating at the time, was the head referee did not announce who the winner was because it was a team's competition. And I wanted to know, did I win? It got emotional. And then the fear part jumped in. Why did the fear part jump in? Master Kim standing there, and he goes, sweating bullets. And he calmed me down very quickly. And all it was a simple sentence. And that night, other people were coming up to me, not happy in any way of my performance. Those people, I learned, were embarrassed by me. And I don't just mean some people. I watched that video. I watched the amount of people behind me. I was sparring someone from another country. All I can see was his countrymen, their flag. I didn't hear what was going on behind me. I didn't see what was going on behind me. When I saw the video, I got embarrassed for myself because then I realized those people were embarrassed because of me. They're holding that giant USA flag, chanting USA, yelling my name. And I had one job, many jobs: represent myself, represent my school, represent my master, Master Kim, represent Tung Sudo, protect the art of Tung Sudo with justice. It's one of our things. I did not do that. I embarrassed every single person who was holding that American flag. How many people can say that? And it's the first time that I am saying it out loud. I have never said that to any single person. Not my daughter, my wife, not my best friends, not Master Lindsay, not Master Sackett, not Master Venturino, not Master Kelly, who told me, hey, so yes, the fear, the embarrassment, every single one of us has dealt with it. So what happened? The next day, 4 teams sparring. I was told very bluntly by Master Nigro, watch your mouth. These people were already mad at you by the stunt you pulled yelling. And in my head, I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about, because if you remember, I said,
You didn't say that.
I didn't say it. But now I'm in front of the head table on stage. Master Kim's sitting there. His wife is sitting there. Master Paulus is sitting there. All these people are sitting there. And I'm being told, keep your anger in check. Blah, do this, do that. Watch your mouth. Everybody's already waiting for you to mess up. I watched that sparring match. I have never probably in my life been in that much control. And I still remember exactly what he said, where I was standing, where he was standing. I remember everything about that night now. After watching the video, and every single person was right, and thinking of everybody's face expressions. They were embarrassed because of me, not for me. They didn't feel bad for me. Not one person was going, oh, is he all right? Yeah, he got kicked below the belt. Is he okay? Not one person cared about that. They were embarrassed because of me.
You're the representative.
And I failed.
I thought you were going to say another word there for a second.
Yeah. No.
I give you props.
No. I failed. And I learned from that failure. I learned from that embarrassment. But I wasn't embarrassed. I learned from the embarrassment of everybody else now realizing that everybody was embarrassed for me. The next day at singles competition, I did great and I joked around with people. Teams competition. Right before the teams competition, you have your individual, when you win, blah, 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 blah. But as I was pacing back and forth, before I got on that stage in front of everybody, there was a gentleman from Mexico, Rocky. Didn't know who he was. But he's doing planks with his feet off the ground this much on 3 fingers. And I'm like, what are you doing? I start talking to him. And it was like, dude, this is like a brother. Like me and him talking. So, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, we're in the teams competition, and I'm pacing back and forth because I'm nervous / a little afraid because I've never been in that position before. Another gentleman from Michigan, he's like, what's wrong with you? I have no idea who this guy is. I watched him spar. He's amazing. And I told him, this is my first teams competition. Like, I don't know what if I mess up. What if you do? He goes, so what? I was like, but I don't know what to do. He's like, you're not supposed to. It's your first time. And I'm like, oh, I had to face him. I lost. I lost. But he was so good. But I learned so much from him. Chill. Calm down a little. And I got to tell him that at Last Worlds last year. Nice. Walked right up to him. I said, hey, do you remember me? And he's looking at me. He's like, yes, but no. And I said, well, I just want to let you know that I have calmed down because of these situations. And he was a part of it, you know, and shot, you know. But all this embarrassment and all this fear it is good for people to do, but you have to learn from it. You have to learn who you are. The first time you got up at church to speak, I'm sure you didn't just jump up there and like, I got it.
So what was funny about the first time I ever stood up to preach was there's this group a family that hadn't been coming to our church for a long time. They were a big part of the Bible studies that I did.
Okay.
They showed up that day, not knowing that I was doing my first sermon. So I brought it up. I'm like, man, I can't believe that the kids came, and I started crying. Before I even got into it, I was crying. So the whole sermon, I was like, and I watched the tape and the video, but it like that part took all of the rest of like the nerves and stuff out. But my big one, my my big moment of
Is when I showed up. No,
that wasn't when I was preaching. My biggest nerve moment was probably the first time I ever went to the go-kart
I'm gonna
track.
try and crack my neck here.
Ooh, that was a
Okay.
good one.
Sorry for
The
all right.
first, and it's a lot later than your story, so it's probably a good transition point. But like it was me and a big group, and when I say go-kart track, I'm not talking like the go-karts at the tourist attraction. We're 50-mile-an-hour purpose-built racetrack specifically for kart racing. And
do you have the different turns
yeah,
and all? Okay.
mm-hmm. So like at this point, I've never driven a 50-mile-an-hour go-kart,
Okay.
and I played enough racing simulators to know like I'm not very good at racing, and like it just we were all building it up because guy banter like, oh, I'm gonna smoke you, and you're nothing, and you're nothing, and you're nothing, and
Guy banter. I like that because, not to cut you off, but I was trying to explain to both of my daughters the difference between bullying,
but yeah,
and bullying.
there's a big
Guys bully each other. But now that you used a different phrase, I don't think I'm ever going to say bullying each other again. We guy banter each other.
right.
I should write that down. That's fantastic.
Thank you. So we're doing it. All of the guy banter.
Right.
And it's race day. I threw up because I'm like I am so nervous about this. Because it's my thing. I'm a racer. It's what I loved. And now I'm finally getting into something that has a little bit of speed to it for the first time. And the guys at the track are like, who's ever done this before? I'm like, not me. And then nobody has in our group. And we're all like, so he's like, this is what you can expect, blah, 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 blah. Nobody told me that the brake, though, it's a rear axle with a single brake on the rear axle. So if you lock it, you do Mario Kart like you hit a banana.
Okay. One wheel locks and the other wheels keep going.
It's all the axle. The rear wheel's solid axle, so both rear wheels are on one axle with a brake on it. So if you lock the brake, you lose both of your rear wheels lock up.
Both, okay.
Yeah, your fronts don't have any brakes on them at all.
If you didn't know, and if nobody ever paid attention, not a mechanic.
so we come out. I was gonna say I used to have a kart axle sitting back there, but
you have to get it out now.
The wall. I don't know where I put it. It's
Oh,
probably in the garage. But anyway,
what if you didn't know?
I'd get it.
See, you had an answer,
right?
Okay.
So you come out, you blend onto the racetrack at turn 1.
Okay.
Turn 2 is this small little kink. Turn 3 is arguably one of the most difficult corners in go-karting anywhere. Like not just in Pennsylvania, well, not anymore because the track's closed, but it was one of the hard. It's a sharp downhill, really hard right-hander.
Okay.
And we're coming to it. I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't.
Go ahead. I'm just writing one more note down.
I didn't expect this to come up so quick, so I hit the brake. I locked my rear axle. Turn 1, I'm the front lead kart, and I spin out. Turn 3.
Okay.
Very first lap, first braking zone ever on a go-kart track. Spin out. Get pummeled by the guy behind me. Everybody goes by. I get back on track. I'm like, everything that I thought was going to happen happened, and I was embarrassed. We come up to turn 9. Somebody in front of me locks their brake, so I step on mine. I lock it again. I get stuck in the grass, pull it out. But from that point on, I climbed from last place to first and just dominated.
And you learned what not to do.
I learned what not to do.
Failure.
And to make it even better, I have made turn 3 over 1,000 times in my life since then. The very last day at the track, on the very first lap, coming to turn 3, I locked up and spun out.
You went full circle.
Full circle.
You blended. You were in a blender.
But
I'm
since
gonna try to keep throwing
right,
the blender.
but like
Favorite
since
things.
then, I was embarrassed. But then all of a sudden, I was like, I got it out of the way.
Right.
And from there it was all right. Now I can just learn the track, and I can have. And I went from picking off every. If I hadn't, I started first. If I hadn't started first and spun out, I would have just hit the track and rocketed. But then I got to learn how to pass people and pass every
Which
single
that has
person.
got to be, again, fear and embarrassment. That's got to be a weird like micro fear is passing somebody. You're not in a car. You're in a go. You're open. That's got to be a. I don't want to maybe not use the word fear, but
It's my favorite part.
it's an anxious feeling.
There-
Oh my gosh.
There's situations, and it depends on who you're racing. If you're racing a novice, it's like
You're not allowed to
Anyway.
drive and like hit
No.
the car. Oh,
but
man.
like
Full contact go
there's-
karting.
there's tricks you bump
We got-
them out of
Dude,
line.
we gotta write that down.
Yeah.
Come up with that.
You bump.
Anybody have land we can build a track on and maybe do this?
We need it.
You know,
Nate, my buddy Nate, and I had this idea because he's a
producer Nate.
Producer Nate.
Because
He's
that's his
I'm
full
not,
name.
I'm not going to call him that anymore.
No,
Because I love the guy.
I know that, but that's his
Okay,
full name now.
So Producer Nate.
Because that's the only way I know.
Right. He's a software engineer, and we had this idea like get electric go karts, design the software, get a.
You're giving
HID.
everybody these
It's
ideas,
too late.
right?
Somebody stole it already because we were too late. Get an HID HUD and have like real life Mario Kart because you can program the blocks onto the visor, and with electric carts now you can program if you put a banana peel on the track. It's there. You see it in the HUD. If you hit it, you lock the rear wheels and you spin out.
Did you know in Japan they actually have that?
That's what they.
No, not for, like they have go karts, and you have the right of way in Japan on the street. It's Mario Kart.
Oh.
You can go there, rent them, and you have the right of way on the street. Thank you, Master Lindsay. She's the one that
Nice.
brought that up to me because she's going to go and do it.
That's
and
awesome.
I have like, you have to wear a GoPro or something, just for those of us who will never get that opportunity, which you would probably lose.
Ryder wants to go to Japan, so
Well, so do I. So does Michaela wants to go. So
What if we
bad.
get an episode of the blender in Japan?
We're still in the basement. We haven't even gotten out of the basement yet. You want to go thousands of miles. You know what? Now that I think of it, that it would be really cool to do an
With
episode. No, at an event.
Yeah.
Like at an event or at a certain place that maybe like we like to go. Oh man, I tell you what. One of these days, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, that was kind of it. We're already at an hour and 42. So, should we get into our?
I
Do you have a closing
lot.
statement?
Yes, I do actually, and I didn't think of it until you just asked. You
I
know,
could tell.
I wasn't thinking of anything. I was just ready to move into the other questions real quick. But yeah, the closing statement is: do not be afraid to be afraid. We are all afraid.
Fear's a good thing, I think.
Something, yes. And I wrote this note down real quick, and I'll even throw that into this. If you are in a relationship with another human,
I am.
yeah, you're afraid.
Yeah.
You're afraid of disagreeing. You're afraid of, hey, partner, I want to do this, this, and this that day. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go do it. You're afraid of what they're going to say. Don't be afraid. Just talk about it. There's a lot of things in life us adults don't want to do. And then we go to an event, and there's probably 3, but 2 things come off of my mind real quick. We either learned that it didn't suck and it was kind of cool and we liked it, or you'll see the person there that that doesn't want to be there because they are walking around with an absolute attitude and you know they don't want to be there,
Mm-hmm.
which again sets off the entire room. Everybody looks at this person, and there's very few things going on in people's mind of what's wrong with this person, why does this person have an attitude, blah 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 blah. And then what happens if there's alcohol involved? Now the person with the attitude, now he gets an even bigger attitude. And then the same thing happens as what happened to me at that tournament when I opened my mouth and, dropped a huge F bomb. That's what the word was that I didn't know I said. And then I watched the video and then I said it. And everybody was embarrassed. Everybody was embarrassed. I'll say it again. Everybody was embarrassed. Not for me. Nobody felt bad that I said a bad word or that I got kicked below the belt. Everybody was embarrassed because of me. And it's the same thing. They're embarrassed because of that person at that place. So if you are family in a relationship, maybe don't be afraid to talk to the other person. Say, I want to go and do this, this, and this. I really don't want to. Why? That's the first question. Why? Not, well, why don't you want to go? Why? That's how it's going to come out. And we all have to maybe think and go, this is why. I
That's
don't
why, because when my wife does it, my normal reaction is like, okay,
yeah, but you're not
I don't need to know why at this point.
right. You're not somebody else.
Right.
You're you. You've met yourself once or twice. Um, but this is why.
Yeah.
Maybe it's as simple as I don't have anything to wear for that, and I don't want to go and buy new clothes.
I've been out all day.
Right. I'm tired. I need to do this, this, and this. Do you think maybe we could do it the next day or a different day? And that goes in both terms. And if the other person has to be willing to say, well, no, I really want to do it on this day, or I really want to go to this place because you're going to come up with a solution.
Right.
There's a lot of things people don't want to do that they end up doing, and sometimes that was cool. That was cool.
I enjoyed it.
Yep. I was told that I had to wear a certain thing a certain way at a certain place, and I was dead set against it. And not only was I told, Michaela, she has to do it too. Just like that. There was no, you should do it. It was, this is what is required, and this is what you're going to do, and she's going to do it too. Okay. And I didn't want to. That little rebel kicked in. The, not fear, then maybe nervousness, and the little bit of embarrassment because I don't wear those clothes very often. I like getting dressed up. I like wearing suits, but I don't wear them. I didn't want to wear it to that place, but I wore it. I wasn't the only one, but I was one of the only ones. And it had to do with martial arts. So we have a certain suit we should wear. Shoes, pants, jacket, tie, certain things. And I was against it, but I did it. Was I happy about it? Absolutely not. But I was so happy about it after I put it on. When I walked out of that bathroom and I saw Michaela in her suit, standing as tall as she is, and people watching my daughter. Like, why is she dressed up? And then I come out wearing the same thing. And then I see other masters wearing that. And I'm like, I am so glad that fear, that embarrassment of, I'm going to be the only person wearing this. This is going to be stupid. I can't believe I'm going to do this. But I did it. So I might as well wear it. Fine. I'll wear it. And then I wore it, and I'm like, I'm so happy.
I like when Megan and I get dressed up. I put my shirt on and my thing, and then she clips my tie on for me.
Absolutely. You need the T-shirt with the tuxedo, like
My
in the
hockey
80s.
jersey is a tuxedo jersey. I'll show it to you.
That's
Before you leave.
fantastic. I might need one.
I could pause it and run up and grab it.
Nah, no. I'll see it before I leave. But yeah, I mean, as adults, this is something we all need to really understand.
My racing suit's a tuxedo too, custom made.
I did know that. You did tell me that. Which is fantastic. You wear the big helmet.
Oh, it slows me down. 2
I know. I
seconds
remember
a lap.
you telling me that.
So
at class. That's fantastic.
Recreational events, yes.
That's
if
cool.
it's serious, no.
But I never saw that. If you're wondering, he has a big helmet, like a Muppet, like a stuffed animal.
That'll be on the table next episode.
And I'll never forget the first time you showed up on your motorcycle to karate. You showed up, and all the kids were like all the attention was lost to everything. All they heard was a motorcycle, and they turned around, they see this giant fuzzy helmet.
That was the purpose.
But as adults, it was so awesome to see because I'll even throw that into this whole thing. We're all doing what we're supposed to do. We all turn around, and that tension from went to that was cool. And then everything just relaxed. And I think everybody kind of got better that class because of you showing up, bringing us all back to earth. It was fantastic.
We have a serious guy at our church, and I love him. And he was cutting the grass on Sunday, and that's when I have youth group. So I'm leaving, and I took my motorcycle, and I had the helmet on. And he's cutting down, and he looks up, and he smiled and laughed harder than I've ever seen anybody smile. And he's always like so serious. It was like that made my day.
It's fantastic. And again, maybe the episode should have been called "Don't Take Ourselves Too Serious."
Yeah.
/ fear, embarrassment, because that's pretty much. But yeah, don't be afraid to be afraid. Don't be afraid to mess up. Take it as a learning lesson. I know after talking about so much of this for so long, so fast, as I tend to speak.
It's good.
I am probably going to come out of this thinking a whole different way. I hope I do. I hope that I'm able to look at myself as a lot of people probably want to do for themselves and for other people to do.
I think this is one of those episodes that I'm going to have to watch in the future to remind myself that too. Not just like...
I might just have it on replay. I just might wake up. Maybe it'll be my alarm clock.
Right. That's another drinking game. Every time I say right.
Everybody's like drunk and passed out by now.
Should we get to the food and...
Absolutely. I got to pull up my notes because
I'll go first then.
Okay, so real quick, when we're talking about this, I wasn't going to say anything to you or to anybody, but my family knows. If you noticed the last episode, what I talked about, if anybody ever takes the advice and watches a movie and watch the movie Sahara, one of the things that they talk about, not a lot, but one of the little snippets underneath everything is tequila. Okay? And there's a lot of things about the entire world, everybody's culture that I find absolutely fascinating. And if you pay attention to everything I said, it has to do with kind of like that Mexican culture under the Mexican moon, Tito and Tarantula.
I got that right. I knew the song after you brought it up.
I know you brought that up. And then, the burritos and all this stuff. So everything kind of has a theme, except for this one because
at that I am going to pause it because I want to grab the helmet and I want to show everybody.
You want to grab the helmet?
Yeah, just
go grab the helmet.
Okay.
Pause it. Stop.
Well, I will be right back. I have returned with the helmet.
Now imagine sitting somewhere with a bunch of kids trying to be serious, and then that thing pulls up. Absolutely wonderful.
And then I also grabbed the hockey jersey.
Oh, cool. Oh my gosh.
Name and number?
You got to wear that to an event.
I agree.
That's what we need. We need t-shirts.
I've been looking.
Me too. Wait, hey, you know what? You got these one day. I'll get the other one.
That's why I put the @Blender Talk Show on the new logo.
That's cool. Yeah, I love the fact that it's talk show because we tend to talk.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit, sometimes fast. All right, buddy. What's your food?
Okay.
What is your food?
So it can't be a barbecue bacon burger from Permanis, right? Because that was the last. So listen.
Well, here's the problem. Did you know there are so many Permanis that have closed?
I do.
It sucks. So now you can only go to certain ones. So maybe.
So here's the deal.
Move to a different.
Well,
maybe move to a different burger or restaurant or something.
Here's the deal.
Okay.
Permanis is known for their sandwiches, right?
That kibasi. They're kibasi sandwiches.
We're taking a journey to Permani Brothers.
All right.
Their buffalo breaded chicken wings are the best buffalo chicken wings ever. They're absolute number one, most favoriteest. We went on Sunday after I preached at church. That's what I got, and I loved them. And they're fantastic. They put a little bit of honey in the buffalo sauce, so it's spicy and sweet.
Okay. We got to make a trip. In fact, we'll go to yours. Okay? We'll do that. We'll go to Permani's. And then another day, we can get the families involved too. Absolutely. That'd be fun. That'd be cool. It'd be the first. Actually, I think it would be the first time outside of Michaela.
Right.
That everybody's met each other. Like all at once.
Right. Let's do it. Let's plan on it.
So, okay, you brought up Permani's. The breaded
buffalo chicken wings.
Breaded buffalo chicken wings with a honey something. Right?
Well, the honey is in the buffalo.
Oh,
sauce.
the honey's in the. I thought.
No. It's mixed in, so it's like so good. And then I'm not one of those guys who's like the hotter the better, right?
No,
but
it's got to have a flavor.
Yeah, I like to take a little bit of the red devil from the side and just.
What is it about a red devil sauce that goes so perfect with Permani's?
I don't know.
It's red devil
because it's right there. Yeah,
it's really good.
Right.
But my food was going to be these delicious Hers brand crunchy cheesy choms, which I'm going to keep bringing up because I like them that much. Okay,
dude, you're so excited.
I am. Like, look at me. I'm grinning like a kid in a candy store. But I'm gonna have to bring up. There's a restaurant near Crooked Creek, Ryan's Creek House. It's giant bar, which whatever. But the food is amazing. And for the first time out there last weekend, I got their version of a hot chicken sandwich. Okay. Remember we went to that other restaurant, I got that chicken sandwich, and I was like, I should not be paying this much for this chicken sandwich. Right. First of all, it's bland, it's boring, it's just whatever. This chicken sandwich, my friend, it's a hot chicken sandwich, and it is the best chicken sandwich I think I've ever had.
I'm down for that.
It's considered a hot chicken sandwich, but it's not hot. You could taste it. Yes. You can taste the spice. It's got coleslaw and pickles in this thing. But okay, so
I don't like coleslaw and pickles. I get it without them.
Okay, fine. I think you're still going to love it.
Oh, me too.
For this reason alone. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so here's the bun. Right.
Yeah.
Here's the bun. Here's the chicken.
Oh.
It was that big, and it was crunchy.
I love a good crunchy chicken sandwich.
And I'm telling
especially because there is a point where you can let that sit too long and then you lose the crunch because of the sauce.
Yeah, no, not that one. Not that one. You're going to have the crunch. And everything that we've had there is really, really good. It's Ryan's Creek House near Crooked Creek.
Writing it down.
And if anybody's near that area or wants to take a drive, the place is huge and it's beautiful. You don't even know it's there. You drive down the road, you're like, I am in the middle of nowhere. There's a sign. Okay, I'll turn in. You pull up the road and you're like, holy cow. And you walk in. Holy cow. Yeah, Ryan's Creek House.
Holy cow. I'll take the chicken.
Right. That's what the Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. The next one is, what is your song?
I opted for a song called Myth by a band called Beach House.
I'm gonna write that down. Okay.
Myth by Beach House. It's not metal. It's not rock. It's just
Is
simply
it yacht rock?
it's more like an alternative-y kind of like, I don't even label it as like hipster alternative maybe, but it's a song about person A and person B that like each other, but we'll say person B is in a relationship and they both want to be in a relationship, but person B never breaks up with the relationship that they're in, and
Humans being humans.
yeah. And
which
so,
we've talked about.
like, what I loved about the song was, like, I looked back and thought of myself as, person A, the victim, right? I never got to be with the person. But then I realized, well, I was also person B to many people.
Yeah.
So,
we
like,
all have.
Yeah.
Every single one of us.
Yeah.
Whether you know it or not, you have been.
We've all been person. It's a really cool thing. Just a guitar and a drum and a singer.
Cool.
And it's good.
Nice. My song is Rise by The Cult.
Oh, yeah.
This song, I didn't realize it until just now, has a lot to do with this episode. Rise. That's what it's about. It's the way that you feel. It's part of the lyric. It's about getting over something, rising above it. Go out and challenge yourself. Look up the video for you martial arts fans out there. It's a great, great video. It's a great song. It's rock and roll at part of its finest. It's rock and roll. It's a little heavy, but not speed. It is rock and roll. Everybody knows Firewoman by The Cult. I mean, it's been out since I was in 6th grade. Back in the
I didn't know you made it to 6th grade.
Yeah, back in the late 1900s. The late 1900s, yeah. But in the 80s, it was fun. Bigger,
Was that
better.
1880 or 1980?
I'm not going to say.
Okay.
Well, no, I did say. I said the late 1900s. But Rise by The Cult. Read the lyrics, feel the music, and I'll probably say that all the time. Read the lyrics, feel the music. It'll get you going, especially when you understand it. Look up the video. We'll do that before I leave. So, yeah.
Movie.
Yep.
Okay, so
we're over the 2-hour mark again.
Well, I didn't stop the timer when I left.
Oh,
so we got a couple.
Okay, woohoo!
So this was on. I found it on Netflix once.
Okay.
Just one of those movies that I was scrolling through. A Silent Voice. It's an anime movie, and it's about a young kid in school.
Okay.
And a deaf girl.
What
moves a deaf?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I got it happy. I was like, you got me. You got me in my own game. So she moves in, and it's about a kid with his own insecurities, so they make fun of her. And I thought that it was a good.
I was just going to say, yeah.
For the episode. And eventually, he moves to a different school, and she moves to a different school, and he becomes an outcast. He was one of the popular kids. And fast forward, they grow up, and he feels terrible about it, and he runs into her again. And since then, you find out that he learned sign language, and they formed this relationship. But her parents hate him because they remember him as the kid that made fun of her and made her cry in school. And then it's just it's a sappy love story about two kids that one of them was a jerk and made her cry, and then all of a sudden he felt bad and became an outcast and wanted to make amends.
So that would be part of the bullying.
Yeah, he was definitely a big bully. And there was another girl that bullied her with him, and you could tell.
And there was probably a clique.
Yeah, she liked him and one of them things, but
yeah,
it's a cool movie. It might still be on Netflix. I don't know, but I liked it so much that
Blu-ray.
Yeah,
I might have to borrow that. I don't know if I have it. I have no idea. That's neat. That's cool. That you don't see very movies like that.
Yeah, and
anymore.
He gets.
At least I don't know. So if again, comment on our movies, our songs, our food. Put your own in there. Tell us what.
So I don't want to ruin the ending, but it. Okay. You should watch it. It's cool. Even though if you're not into animes and cartoons, it doesn't matter. It's an awesome story about. Don't be afraid to be a cool person, and if it means coming out of your comfort zone.
I think a lot of our stuff is going to be something like that.
Yeah.
About being your own person and figuring out who you are. Good luck.
That's another thing.
I still haven't. I'm still learning.
That's another thing I like about this. It's not a gun movie, and like it feels like everything's just the same regurgitated thing over and over again. But it's a feel good
Well, I
movie
got two
about.
movies on here that aren't that sort of flashy.
Nice.
Well, one was probably considered
Well,
flashy
what is it?
back in the late 1900s. One of my favorite movies, and it's one of Morgan's new favorites. She just told me last night that she has watched it 3 times in a row.
Nice.
Is The Lost Boys
Uh-huh.
from the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Party all day, or party all night, I should say.
Yep.
Sleep all day, party all night, never die. Never grow old, Michael. You're one of us.
That's a good one.
Jamie Gertz.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, that's probably the whole reason that got me into that was Jamie Gertz with her big hair and that big smile. And Kiefer Sutherland as David in that movie. I never wanted to be so cool as that character. I mean, I'll even blow up those two people for you. I gotta put that in if you can see it in there or whatever. But look up the poster.
McQueen, just saying.
I'm telling you, man. Kiefer Sutherland. When I watched that, that role probably got a lot of people to watch his movies.
Right.
But then not too much after that, Young Guns came out.
So good.
That was a great movie. And again, his character was, different than everybody else. But The Lost Boys, vampire movie, kind of a lovey, but not romantic,
right,
in any way. It's a great movie. It's a fun movie. Santa Carla that it's based in is a made up. It's not real. But the city, everything in it is real. And the cool thing is they just did at the Boardwalk amusement park that this movie takes place in. They just did a screening.
Oh, cool.
And I didn't know it, but it was the same night that Morgan and I watched The Lost Boys last week.
That's so cool.
It's fantastic. Cool. Okay, so The Lost Boys.
Lost Boys.
Do you have another one?
I don't.
I do.
I just picked one.
I do. I gotta bring this one up.
This one's so good. I only needed one.
All right. But I got to bring this one up because it's so opposite and not a lot of people know it. With two of the most famous actress on the planet. It's a movie called The Tourist. It's with Angelina Jolie, and Johnny Depp. Okay, Angelina Jolie. I've talked about my love of black and white movies. Mm-hmm. Okay, the Hedy Lamarrs, Lauren Bacall, who I have a painting of that Freya got for me for my 40th birthday. She found an artist to do an oil painting of Lauren Bacall in the Day of the Dead makeup.
For your 40th birthday, so that was like right after the movie was shot.
Pretty much.
I'm kidding.
I'm not. But no, it's The Tourist, and Angelina Jolie in that movie is not your typical Angelina Jolie. Whoever put this together, it's so classy. The movie is they could have made this movie in black and white with the old style film, and you would have thought that it came from the 30s or 40s. Johnny Depp in it was this quirky little, almost, you watch him and he's so nervous about everything he says. He's not your typical Johnny Depp. You can relate to the character when you're looking at, as a male, you're looking at that beautiful woman, that person where you're just like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to say the wrong things. And he tries not to say the wrong thing.
The wrong thing.
Don't! Right. But the movie is not what the movie seems. There's a twist and there's a turn and then there's this and there's that. But it's nice. It's a cool movie. The Tourist. Johnny Depp, Angelina Jolie. I highly recommend it, and you can watch it as a family. There's no swearing, there's no explosions, there's no weird scenes to be embarrassed about. It's
I just thought of it. It has the DVD in it too. If you don't have a Blu-ray player.
But yeah. So The Lost Boys and The Tourist, two opposite ends there, and it's fantastic. think we've talked. I don't know, like no
That's it.
idea how long I spoke.
I think we're after my run upstairs. We're probably about the 2 hour mark.
Two-ish?
Yeah,
2-ish. Should we explain ourselves more?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Just don't post it, K9.
It's not about who we are, though.
It's not. I know who I am. Every day I learn something new.
And we're not here to talk about ourselves. We're here to talk about life experiences from the perspective of Doinkus and Doinkus 2.
I get it. And I will say, as I'm sitting here, and I think I mentioned, and probably not, but Master Kim always says one thing is, I'm never too old to learn. He's going to be 86. And real quick, I got to post. Can I say one more thing?
Nope.
Yep, too bad. June 6th. June 6th, there is a martial arts tournament in Monroeville at the convention center. It is the all martial arts tournament. It's an invitational type of thing, but there's different styles. There's Tung Soo Do, there's Taekwondo, Kung Fu, and Karate. So it's really wild, all the totally different sparring styles and the different forms, the different weapons forms, the different breaking. The Taekwondo people who do the breaking, I'll tell you what, holy cow, man, they pull out some really neat. Like I watched a little kid do, like, he jumped and spun twice, did a round kick through a board with the top of his foot. And I was like in amazement. I probably had the biggest, cheesiest smile because I was judging. And I thought, and I have no idea who this kid is. He was from a different style. But June 6th, that's where it will be. And it starts at 9. There's an opening ceremony, Black Belt Hall of Fame inductees. I think Master Kim, for the halftime, he's trying to get like some Korean dancers.
Nice.
To do traditional Korean thing. It is Master Kim's 50th
Big deal.
tournament that he has started. This is his tournament for 50 years. He is, think about this, he is going to be 86 years old in August. He has been doing Tung Soo Do since he was like 5 or 6.
He still has something to learn.
Yeah. He's been doing this for 50 years. It is the 50th anniversary. There's a lot of really cool competitions from little kids up to adults. At the end of the night, if you're a black belt and you get first place in your individual divisions, you go for what is called the grand champion. So as an adult, you spar. We'll start there. You spar men versus men, women versus women, but it's 18 and above. I am almost 50 years old. The last grand champion round I won, and I did lose, and I know why I lost, and hopefully I learned from it. Was against a 20-year-old. Did he beat me, or did I beat myself? Yes.
Right.
To both of those. So there's these different grand champion rounds. There's junior grand champion rounds for 17 to 14 for black belts, and that is a very hard competitions because those kids want it. The adults want it. You can see it. The adults want it. They compete so hard, but the kids want it because they want that trophy. And the cool thing about it is, if you win grand champion and your name is called, everybody hears your name called. No one knows who got second or third. They don't give out anything for second or third. So all as you know is that you did not get that. Sometimes the trophies are like 6 foot tall. Sometimes they're little and they're grand. They say grand champion on them. You know, I've never won one. Michaela's won 2. You know, Master Lindsay's won 37.
That's my hockey number.
There you go. I think it's 37, I think. There's people I know that have been doing this for so long and they never won. I am so happy that I just get to compete in that round. I am not expected to win. I'm expected to do good. I'm expected to put up a competition. But I'm not expected to win. And I think it's great. And I got to remember that. I got to remember to have fun.
Right.
We all got to remember to have fun. Don't be afraid to be afraid. Don't be afraid to be embarrassed. And because that's what this competition is. There's so much people. There's so many people who are afraid. There's so many people who are embarrassed. But they got up and did it. I watched a girl cry her eyes out at a tournament. She got halfway through her form and bawled. And the head judge walked up to her, talked to her, and told her, "You know what you're doing. If you didn't, you wouldn't have signed up.
You know what?
Look at all the other people who didn't sign up." She took a deep breath and he said, "Just start over."
You know what my favorite thing about racing is? In that moment where you've messed up. And either you're on the sidelines because your cart's broken, or you're back in the pits. There's a period where you get to keep your helmet on, and it's just you in this secluded world running through it in your mind. What could have I done differently? Was it a good learning experience? Like, that is the best part of kart racing when something goes wrong. Now, granted, it's not the best thing, because the best thing is like winning and doing things,
but you get to have your helmet on, so nobody gets to see your facial expressions. When you're in these competitions, just say you do a form, weapons form, regular form, and you do it, we'll just say as hard as you can. After you're done, you bow, come up samida, which thank you very much. And the judges go like this. You turn around, gives you an opportunity to breathe, fix your uniform. The worst thing I found is if you look at a competitor and then it's like reading a text message. You don't know the emotion behind the text message. You don't know the emotion behind how they're looking at you. You can either take it as, "Oh, I did good. I did so good and they have to compete with me." Or, "Oh, I did so bad. Look at how they're looking at me." And you turn around and how you, again, say thank you. You bow, come up, so be das, tongue su. That emotion in that split second is either through the roof or down below. So it's cool that you get to have the helmet on, but you have the same thoughts as we do, and that's any tournament of any martial art. See a lot on social media and how people can get afraid, embarrassed.
That's the other thing about, you get embarrassed in karting, you're still in your little world for a minute.
That's cool, man. We can relate so much to so many things. So let's close this up. And don't be afraid to be afraid. Don't be afraid
to be afraid.
Just take it.